All right. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hit it.
Awesome. Awesome. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, everyone. Welcome to the TARDIS Travel Guide. I'm Jared. Thank you for joining us from wherever you came from. If you came from the Marku 42 feed, if you came from the Subspace feed, if you found us in spam comments on YouTube, wherever you found us, welcome. I'm Jared again, and that voice you just heard is one of my co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Mark, also known as Marku42.
And also with us is,
Design Heroes.
and we are the Doctor Who podcast that randomly reviews Doctor Who,
Yeah.
and literally random in some cases.
And we're actually on the newly revived Subspace Radio.
Yeah.
Yes,
That is exciting.
in many ways, Subspace Radio is why this show exists. For those who don't know my history, I created a show on Subspace, or Odyssey, as it was back then. I was one of the creators of The Seventh Rule, which is a Doctor Who podcast, or sorry, a Star Trek podcast that hosts by Sirach Lofton, and back then Aaron Eisenberg and Ryan T. Husk and myself started it out. I left, but that show is still going strong. And Russ was like, "Hey, I'm revitalizing the radio station. Let's do another show." And I was like, "You know what? I want to do a Doctor Who audio show." So, ta-da! Here we are.
Marku42 is actually a part of Subspace or Odyssey back in 2018. We left it about a year ago, and then the station ended. But now that it's coming back, if I'm correct, this show is going to be on every other week, and every other week will be Marku42.
Ye-
Nice.
Yeah, he says that the station ended. I just think he tripped over the power cord and didn't notice until it
It's
was.
very possible because, maybe it was because of that rope that I'm holding you by. He tripped
Mm,
over it and possibly.
yeah, it's entirely possible. Mark, what have you been doing for the last couple weeks? Let's get into our show and tell section.
I've been COVIDized. I had COVID for the seventh
Ugh.
time. My God,
Oh boy.
it's turned into the common cold with me. So this COVID is a common cold. And I slept a lot. But I did listen to what we're going to be talking about in the second half of our show. And I've been watching some stuff. I've been watching some old Star Treks. Have not started Strange New World season 3. Do not give me any spoilers. I'm getting ready to watch those.
I'm sorry.
And I'm excited about that. And yeah, I just love not being sick anymore.
Yeah, that sucks. I remember when I had COVID the first time, it was scary
Yeah.
because I didn't get, and sorry, listeners, I'll be done with this in just a second. I didn't get the coughy sneezy COVID.
Right.
I had the what I'm going to call aggressive tiredness.
Mm.
In other words, I would be standing at the refrigerator getting a glass of tea, and then all of a sudden it would be like, I need to lay down right here, right now, before I pass out.
I get that. I get
Like
that.
it was crazy. So,
The first time I had it was in 2020 and I was in the hospital. But that's enough of that. Let's go
ugh.
to something fun. Zion, what have you
Mhm.
been doing?
Are you still drawing
Um
Barbara Streisand? Most importantly, are you
That's a good
still drawing?
question. Are you?
I haven't. I've been reading this comic. I just finished it called The Human Target
Hmm.
by Tom King and Greg Smallwood.
Okay.
And essentially what it's about is, imagine Donald Draper is a guy that takes your identity so that he can find out who's trying to kill you.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And Lex Luthor decides to hire him to find out who kills him. And so he finds out blah blah whatever it is, some gun guy. And so he starts dying. And so he goes back to Lex, thinking, of course, it's Lex, but like Lex is like, I'm going to use every resource to find out who it is because they tried to just kill me. And so now he goes to Doctor Midnight, and essentially he pins down that like there's this trace bit of radiation that traces back to the Justice League International.
Hmm.
So he pretty much has 12 days to find out who on that team essentially tried to kill Lex and killed him inadvertently.
Zion, did you know that the Human Target, that was actually a show back in the
Yes.
day on, I think it was ABC. I think it was on a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago. Galaxy Far, Far Away. That
Yeah,
was a
and
good show.
really,
Yeah, it was. I
I will have
enjoyed
to
it.
check it out.
Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah,
I mean, it doesn't
there's
have Lex Luthor and Superman and stuff in Justice
yeah,
League, but it's still
yeah,
good. It's
there
like a Incredible Hulk kind of version of, you'll watch it. Watch it, you'll see.
yeah, it is one of those things that like I could describe as like a James Gunn thing where like they don't use the well-known heroes. Like sure you got Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, but you got Ice and Fire and Red
Yeah.
Rocket and stuff like that. But essentially one of the main characters is Ice, and I drew her like not too long ago. So there's that. And so I'm trying to like I figured out that I want my style to be something along Greg Smallwood's. So I decided to just try my hand in that, and it came out pretty well.
All right. Maybe you put some of the pictures in the liner notes.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Awesome.
What have you been up to, Jarrod?
This week I have been in kindergarten mode. I have a little niece who started kindergarten today as we record it, but so I've been doing the
Ooh.
whole meet the teacher, all that handy type of stuff. But one of the things I've also been doing is I listened to the show prior to this, and Mark, I realized I misspoke
Mm.
on a specific question, and I want to take this part of this show to clarify it. You asked me when the season 2 Shooty Target novels were going to be released.
Yes, I
And
did.
and at the time that we were recording, 3 of them had been released for several weeks.
Mm.
So I
Oh wow.
assumed you were speaking about the next batch of Target novels.
No, I was
Not
talking about the ones that we just released that I missed by 3 weeks.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to clarify because I said that nothing, when I said nothing from season 2 had been released, that was incorrect. They had
Yeah.
already, no, what I was thinking of, nothing further from season 2 was currently planned of being released.
hmm
And I caught that I had misspoke on that. So I wanted to take this moment to clarify that is it. That
Because it's funny, I was able to get the audiobooks for those books, so I
mhm.
almost brought it up myself today. But
Yeah,
thank you for making the retraction yourself. Thank you.
yep. So like I said, when you said it, I immediately thought of he's obviously not talking about the ones that have been out for a couple weeks. He's talking about something further. The only thing that might be interesting is that batch of Target novels that were scheduled for January that are now pushed back to March, I believe. There were initially 4.
Okay.
Now there are 3, and that makes me wonder if a 4th slated novel would have needed rewrites or if something would have happened, i.e., if so many changes were done to the reality war that they would have had to go back and work on the Target novel and fix it to match what ended up on screen.
That actually makes
Interesting.
sense. That
So,
actually makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does.
so that keep an eye, just keep an eye on that. Not,
Okay.
I'm not. I have a feeling that that's what that is because there are several articles, places that speak to 4 of those. So yeah, that is what I have been up to. We're going to talk now about Doctor Who news before we get to our review of The Sleeping City, the companion chronicle from Big Finish that we'll be reviewing in the second half of the show. But first, I want to talk about any recent Doctor Who events. What's been going on? Mark?
Well, I know in San Diego Comic-Con they had the Unit Black Archive that was going on, where you're basically going through Unit headquarters, Unit Tower. And what's interesting about that, I was thinking to myself, how did people think like Doctor Who's going away because they're doing this? And then I thought, oh yeah, because the war between the land and the sea is coming, and that's Unit, so they're promoting that, not necessarily Doctor Who, but they were promoting Doctor Who, so it's not gone, folks. I wish I could have went. That looked like it was going to be fun.
Well, it's if you go onto YouTube, there are YouTubers who have
hmm
posted complete walkthroughs of the exhibit. And it is, if you've ever been to the Doctor Who, either the Experience or the Comic-Con Museum, which still has the Doctor Who exhibition there,
Mm-hmm.
it is your pretty basic walk through and see props sitting around. That's what the basis of that was. There wasn't really a story. It's just sort of a walk through exhibit thing, and then you get given a tchotchke when you leave.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is what it was. Is just a walkthrough exhibit thing. It was a lot more unit based. A lot of new series based. It wasn't like there were doctor costumes or things like that. It was
Well, that they have at the museum.
right. That
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. That's at the museum. So with the war between the land and the seas, this is a big unit focused event.
Yeah. And it should be. And I know they still haven't announced when it's coming out, the series, but definitely by the end of the year. Definitely by the end of the year.
I'm still holding my spot that it'll be connected to Christmas somehow.
I think episode 5 probably will.
Because
Um,
as we're recording this, it's early August. So if there was a magic commission that happened, they would need to get it pretty quickly to get stuff up and running,
yeah.
or have any standing sets. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't mind if they wanted something for Christmas. I would throw if they wanted something cheap that they could throw together. Do another Tales of the TARDIS.
Ooh. Yeah.
You
I mean,
all you need is the memory TARDIS set, and grab a couple people and maybe 1-2 days of filming and do some of the new series stories. That would be fun.
but remember that would only be for the British viewers because we did not get those outside of the BBC iPlayer.
Right, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, I
Uh,
mean, it's fine. I mean, definitely.
if they,
I'm still gonna watch. I'm still gonna watch them if they came out.
I'm
No
just saying,
stopping
Yeah,
me there.
if they wanted content for this Christmas that was Doctor Who related, there are ways they could do it.
Yeah, there are.
absolutely.
There
Yeah.
definitely are. Uh, Jarrod, what is going on? I've heard something about Circuit Breaker and Joe Martin put
Yep.
together. What exactly is this about?
Okay, Circuit Breaker is the latest in several multimedia, and I'm using that very specifically, multimedia story arcs that have gone on. You've seen them in the past where they had the Time Lord Victoria story arc, where there were some of the story was in novels, other were in comics, other were in audios, the different audio
Oh,
ranges.
yeah. I remember that.
Yep, and then they did the
Yeah.
same thing with Doomsday,
Yes, and
which was
remember Doomsday.
it's the latest one of that, where you have the overarching story pertains to Unit. Again, Unit and the archive, and there are things that are missing from the archive, and the incumbent doctor that is going to be part of this story is Joe Martin's fugitive doctor, which is really, really good because Joe Martin's great. She's a great resource. Her doctor is very well received. Um, but yeah, and very similar to the previous versions of this, Time Lord Victorious did not have an episode that was filmed specifically for it. It tied in loosely to Planet of the Dead because of that line. Sorry, not Planet of the Dead, Waters of Mars. I misspoke. It tied into
Remember
Waters of,
Mars, yeah.
because he spoke that line, I am the Time Lord Victorious, blah, 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 blah. So it wasn't like there was something filmed for it. Doomsday, again, there wasn't any specific episode that was filmed for that. You had one or two like web flashy trailer things, but that was about it. So yeah, there won't be a new series episode for Circuit Breaker. You could probably see some shorts on YouTube filmed and released. That's good. But I think this is a good thing to show that just because there's not a show on the air, there's still content coming out here.
Yeah.
They're still moving forward. And I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the mobile game is involved. The both of the audio ranges are involved. Both
BBC and Big Finish,
yeah,
yeah.
BBC and Big Finish. The comic book publishers will be out there. There's the comic in Doctor Who magazine as well as Titan, and then there's going to be a novel tie-in. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff here, and
Yeah.
that'll be good when it comes out to fall.
Yeah. We can talk about some of that in the future
Oh,
Yeah.
on our show. That's what our show is about. Audio and written work of Doctor Who.
Yeah, and stories like this work good too for people that obviously you have the one little bit, let's just say the novels, where if you read the novel, you get that little bit of the story, but then you can move on to the audio and say, okay, the audio has a little bit more of the story, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that's going on. So that is what Circuit Breaker is and what it's going to be. I do think it's interesting that Joe Martin is the incumbent doctor. I do wonder if things in recent months would have gone differently if Shooty would have been the incumbent, or if the intention was for it to always be Joe. But I'm happy for it to be Joe. I mean, quite honestly, it could be Tim Treloar as the third Doctor, and I'd be happy with it.
I love Tim Treloar. He's great.
So yeah. So that is what Circuit Breaker is.
All right.
And if anybody has fallen asleep, thank you. Keep our podcast on. Keep this podcast in your playlist and just play it on a loop while you're sleeping. Our numbers will go up. Everything will be fine.
And you're listening to Subspace Radio, by the way, folks.
Yeah. Unless you're listening to it on a podcast.
That's true. Or you're watching it on, well, not watching it, but seeing it on YouTube. You can't really watch what's just a blank screen. Right. I mean, you could. It's like watching paint dry, but listening to us.
Right.
That may not be good. I don't know.
Right. So we have a couple more minutes in the first act, first part of the show. Not much has been announced recently from the BBC, obviously, as we are recording this right now. The only interesting element that has happened was on August the 1st, as we spoke about we've been talking about a lot recently. HBO Max lost the global streaming rights to the new series, The Back 13. Mark, I don't understand this because this has been pretty much common knowledge for months.
Okay.
That
people are scrolling, it's gone. What does that mean?
Right, exactly. And
they announced this a while back. This is not on. I was reading something. It was like, oh, this must mean it's over. And no, it just means the rights went out.
It was like May when
it happened all of a sudden. People are saying, no, well, it did, but they knew it was going to happen all of a sudden. It was timed.
Yeah, because all of these streaming platforms, they put out these articles that say, hey, this is what's coming, this is what's leaving. So what, this is leaving, watching it. They don't just wake up one day and say, delete.
Yeah, they don't. They don't at all.
So yeah, I didn't get that. Mark, what's going on with Big Finish? Any new fun
Well,
ideas?
I don't want to go. Hey, before we get to Big Finish, because we'll be talking about it. Okay. I want to bring something up. Do you guys watch? Well, I don't know, Zion, you probably don't, but Jarrod, do you watch Strictly Come Dancing on the BBC?
I think I watched Dancing with the Stars, and I've watched Strictly in the past. It all depends on who's on it. Why? Who is going to be on it?
Well, okay, they're not making formal announcements for the next season until the end of this month, August 2025. But there is a major Who rumor. Alex Kingston is being rumored to be one of the dancers next season.
Ooh.
That's a reason to watch again.
A river runs through it, or dances through it in this case.
There you go. There you go. In terms of Big Finish news, just came out the day we're recording this, Snare, the Ninth Doctor and Rose, their first adventure together on audio. We'll be reviewing that on our next show, if I'm correct. Yep. In September, we've got The Return of the Doctor. That's what it's called, with Yaz and number 13, which is interesting for the second episode to be called The Return of the Doctor, but we'll go with that. And in October, the second episode with Ninth and Rose is The Last Days of the Powell Estate, which I know that Snare has something to do with the Powell Estate, where Rose lives and grew up. So they're staying with it. And maybe that means that Camille will be in the second episode too, like she's going to be in the one we review next week.
Yep.
In 2 weeks, rather.
Yeah, a couple interesting things from the BBC side of the audio world. There have been some announcements recently. As everyone knows, they are nearing the end of their audiobook releases of the Target novels. And we are seeing things now, them cleaning up, as it were, with things like Mission to Magnus and The Pescatons by Victor Pemberton. So yeah, you can listen to all of that. Obviously, there are audio stories with Shooty and Virata Sethu coming out, originals that are going. We've talked about the ongoing arcs from there, and just normal audios are still going. So yeah, and that is about it. So oh, in the last episode, I couldn't remember the name of the person who is novelizing the third Target novel. That would be author Jenny Colgan.
Excellent. Excellent. So we're going to take our break.
Yep.
When we come back, we're going to have our review of an old story from Big Finish, companion chronicle called
The Sleeping City.
The Sleeping City, featuring, who is it featuring, guys? It's featuring
William Russell as Ian, and you will be able to hear the trailer for that companion chronicle right now.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who: The Companion Chronicles, The Sleeping City.
I don't think you fully appreciate the seriousness of your situation, Mr. Chesterton.
Oh, believe me, I do.
You're aware of the impact your disappearance made?
I haven't really kept up with the papers, to be honest.
Conscious dream mingling is just the tip of Limbus. Limbus connects the people of Hisk subconsciously too. It encourages our citizens to truly know each other, to share who they are and what they hope to be together. It feeds into our real lives, helps us work for the common good.
Focus. Focus on the light.
Would it help if I were to say members of my department were already aware of the Doctor?
What? I don't understand.
There have been certain events since your departure which have brought him to our attention.
There, my child. It was just a dream, that's all. Just a dream. It wasn't, though, she said. It was real. I felt a hand on my shoulder in Nimbus, and when I turned round, it was Bennett. My old guardian, Bennett. But his face wasn't right somehow. I'm trying to investigate a murder here and prevent a second.
Big Finish. We love stories.
And welcome back to the TARDIS Travel Guide. I'm Jarrod, joined still by
Mark of Marku 42.
and
Design Heroes.
So at the
Is
start of
Zion the only one that gets to see his last name? Is that how it works on this show?
he's the one that's less likely to get doxxed.
Maybe.
Okay. I will go with that and stop right
Possibly. I have no clue. That might actually be the exact opposite.
Mhm. So, yeah, I said at the top of the show, we are the Doctor Who podcast that randomly reviews Doctor Who, and that is because we have this wonderful randomizer from TARDIS.guide that selects stories for us to review. And this week it selected a companion chronicle from Big Finish called The Sleeping City, which is very, very good. It's a companion chronicle featuring William Russell as Ian Chesterton, alongside of a secondary voice actor named John Banks. And it was released in February of 2014, so over 10 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
And written by Ian Potter, who has written a lot of First Doctor.
I actually wanted to bring up. So John Banks, who played Jarrod, I was looking up his IMDb, and he's done mostly, Big Finish audios and other audio books. It's what he does.
Right.
But did you know that back in the day, he was on 6 episodes of Allo Allo as an Italian soldier? Did you know that?
No,
Oh,
and
whoa.
That it was, you don't want to I like the show. It was a great show about Nazi France during the occupation and Nazis and all the fun and frolics you can have during World War II in France. That was
Interesting.
hello. And Ian Potter, the gentleman who wrote this, did you know he's one of the writers and performers on Riff Tracks Presents?
Yep.
That is kind of cool. I got to go and look at his back catalog of that.
Yep. Now, for our listeners who may not be familiar with Big Finish and their output, I do want to speak a little bit on the Companion Chronicles and what they are, what they were. For a long time at Big Finish, they had a strict no recasting rule, which meant if the actor who portrayed the role had passed away, they would not recast them, period. That's it. Thus, when you come to the first Doctor's era, at this point, Jacqueline Hill was gone. Obviously, William Hartnell was gone. So there were no real options for a full cast audio featuring that Doctor and that TARDIS team, right? So what they've come up with was the Companion Chronicles, which was very much a whenever it's really funny because when The Power of the Doctor came, that Jodie Whittaker finale, and it showed Graham's companion support group, I immediately thought of the Companion Chronicles because really what the basis is companions sitting around telling stories of their travels with the Doctor, of things
Wow, that's
of things
cool.
that happened. And so yeah, when I saw that part of The Power of the Doctor, I was like, Big Finish might be on a trick here because they could get people and frame it inside of one of Graham's companion circles. But regardless, that is what the Companion Chronicles came from. They used it primarily to tell stories for Doctors that they did not have the entire cast for, or so your first Doctor, your second Doctor, your third Doctor, and back when it started, the fourth Doctor was there too because Tom Baker had not agreed to do Big Finish yet.
Yeah, and that's how you had Louise Jameson doing her own stories.
Yep.
and Mary Tam did do some of the Companion
Yeah,
Chronicles along with Lala. So
along with Lala, yep.
Yeah. It was a great line. It was a great and they still release them. They still do some of those, don't they? They still release Companion Chronicles in box sets now.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's not one because they were little one disc releases. So every month you would get 1 2-part story featuring some companion. After a while, they did start doing them with later Doctors. There's a really good Companion Chronicle called Solitaire, which features India Fisher that I think everyone should listen to.
Yeah.
Okay.
It deals with the Celestial Toymaker. And most of them are two-handers where it's the companion actor and one other voice actor doing a lot of the stuff there. So yeah, Mark, what do you think about, as they are still doing it, this format specifically, when you're listening to a story and it's a two-hander, but it's not, because you've got someone telling the story part of the time and then there's someone bouncing off of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of a combination between an audio book and an audio drama. And I enjoy more and more I enjoy audio books now, but audio dramas, the Big Finish ones work. So when they do Companion Chronicles, I feel like I'm getting the best of both worlds, and you're getting stories. If you had a full cast, how do I say this? I don't want to say they make these on the cheap, but they can make these for less money and put them out more easily, and they're still written very well, just like the other ones. Everything Big Finish puts out, the writers are incredible. During the convention, Florida SuperCon, when I was at the panel, Christopher Eccleston was talking about the fact that the writers of these stories, he doesn't see why they aren't using these writers on the TV, because these are great stories, great writers, and I find the Companion Chronicles work for me just as much as a full audio drama. It works. Two-handers are great. When I watch EastEnders, I love the episodes where they do a two-hander. I love to. Robert Holmes used to love two-hander double act characters, and I think they work.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate it as well. And one of the other things about the Companion Chronicles range is we get hidden gems out of it. There are things that come out of the Companion Chronicles that no one expected and just provide hours and hours of entertainment. I'm going to use a shining example of
Go for it.
Fraser Hines as the second Doctor. When the very first time I listened to a Fraser Hines audio and he did his impression of Patrick Troughton, it was like he had resurrected that man from the grave. It was
100%.
Mhm.
100%. Fraser Hines did a great second. And of course Michael Troughton is doing it now, but
yep.
Fraser did a great job. And you're
Yeah.
right. Every Companion Chronicle that he was in, a second Doctor story, he played both parts and it worked. And then they had someone else play something else. So you had more than just a two-hander because you had Fraser playing at least two people.
Yeah. And then a lot of times if there's one with the Daleks, you would have Nick Briggs as
Mm-hmm.
the voice of the Daleks and other
A
things.
third actor. Yeah.
Zion, what's your thoughts on this storytelling style for
Okay,
audios?
okay. Just to be clear, when you mean two-hander, you mean the narrator speaking for two characters, right?
Or there's a narrator and one other actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like okay,
Two actors working out on each other. Two actors
mm,
working on each other
Yeah.
is a two-hander.
okay, something like what the Rocket Man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I when you bring it up like that, it works because like obviously as you said, I didn't know that like there was a rule that like you can use people. So like it makes sense. But like my thing that gets me is the selection. It's like
hmm
how do you choose the right person to narrate all of these people? Like for example, William Russell was doing like like four different voices for
Right.
Rocket Man
hmm
and stuff like that. So like I find it more interesting in the fact that like you can somehow make a story do more with less.
It's really funny. You just brought that up, and there is a line at the end of The Sleeping City. This isn't a spoiler. It's just very funny. There is a line where it's mentioned that William Russell Ian is telling the story, and he does a bad Vicky impression.
Okay, I have to bring something up here. I have to bring something up
Yeah.
here. Okay, so Vicky has never been my most favorite character. I don't hate her. She's not Adric, but
hmm
Vicky has been a substitute. And I'm listening to the story, and I had listened to this when it first came out, but I'm listening to it again for the
hmm
first time in a long time, and I'm hearing the portrayal of Vicky, and I'm going, boy, she's whiny and stuff. And then when you find out the thing at the end that you're talking about, it means that Ian thought basically the same thing of Vicky that I do.
Right.
That Ian did not have a great opinion of Vicky, and I find that hysterical. I found
That
that very funny.
that as Ian was telling the story, he was telling her as the way he remembered her, and he remembered her as being whiny. So yeah,
Whiny and yeah, pretty much.
yeah, that was
I
funny.
love that. I love that.
So the opening scene for this story, I wanted to touch about it briefly, because I found it very interesting. Is basically, spoiler alert, faithful listener, but this is the first 5 minutes of the show of the story. If you need a spoiler for it, fine. You have Ian locked up in a cell, and you have some agent, MI5, whoever it is, come in and says, "Hey, we need to talk to you. Tell me about the doctor." Blah, blah. And if something had happened, I wonder realistically, as I was listening to it, would that happen to former companions? Because we know that Unit goes after former companions.
Yeah.
Yes.
And wasn't this before Unit?
Yes.
So could have been
well,
Torchwood.
it was 2000. Well, this was released in 2014.
Right.
So
No, but I don't mean that. But I mean, this takes place, well, supposedly in 1960.
60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Unit wasn't formed. late 60s, early 70s. If you go unit timeline, that's kind of crazy. Yeah.
So if this was around the time as, let's just say, Yetis in the Underground,
Mm-hmm.
okay, maybe you would go find all these other people, but I could see this happening, like going and tracking down these poor people who thought they had escaped the Doctor and come to find out they hadn't.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was very believable.
Yeah. And of course, the guy is telling Ian, we've got Barbara locked up next door, and you better tell us the same story, and we're going to corroborate, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, but this was,
Someone's reading a lot of spy novels here.
yeah.
And that's not really a spoiler, but yeah.
I will say that this has the pacing of a Hartnell story. You can tell that Ian Potter knows the Hartnell era very well. It does have that evocation of it. The story is a little bit slower. It's a little bit of a lighter pace in the first half. We landed and went shopping. That's basically the first 15 minutes of the audio.
Oh, sounds like the Romans.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is actually named, I mentioned in this somewhere. If I remember correctly, the Assisium market is mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is very, as we've talked about in the past, very evocative of the era that it is meant to represent. Not all the companion chronicles are like that, unfortunately. They can be a bit of a mixed bag, but I enjoyed this one.
Yeah. I enjoyed it the first time I heard it back in, what was it, 2014, and I enjoyed it again this time. And it's funny because I turn it on and I'm going, oh yeah, I think I remember this one. And then the more it was going, I'm going, oh yeah, and it's a great story. And I wish this show that we are doing gave spoilers so I could go really into it. But can I just say that the market does make a perfect setting for the story.
Yeah.
It features into the plot. It's not just a setting, it's part of the story. It's a character in the story, if I'm correct, in my opinion on there.
Exactly.
I enjoyed it in the sense that like it is just, and like this is just how like I look at Big Finish in general, and that's how like I look at it and like it. Is that it's just essentially like a small bit of in between of the episodes. Like I did this one thing once where like I tried to do a home run and try and watch things and then listen to the audios in between, and this would line up exactly with what happens there. Like there was this one time where they met the master, right? And like I always felt like stories like that were like a bit off-putting because like of course he'd remember when he met the master, as the first Doctor and this and that, and so whenever you have just these off stories that just don't really have any big implications but it's just good, I very much enjoy them.
I was just about to say that. Zion, how much of an exposure have you had to the first Doctor's era visually?
A lot. Okay. I watched all of it, and oh my goodness, and this is a good tie-in to what I just said. When I was doing the Grand Slam run, I tried to get past the reconstructions.
The reconstructions. Oh
yeah. My God. And then I got the Dalek Master Plan, and it just fell apart. It just all fell apart. I stuck around for Marco Polo. I stuck around for other things, but when it got to that, I'm like, oh my goodness, can they just find this thing, please? Because at the end they say like, oh, that last episode was like insane and so violent that like people had problems with it, and all you have is stills, and so like yeah, like that's essentially my experience with the first Doctor, watching it and then getting to the reconstructions and just trying to just deal with it.
I'll tell you flat out, if you're talking about the Dalek master plan, the Target novels are a lot easier way to go.
But the Target novels for is very dense. But I mean, yeah, I guess it would be, it's a more enjoyable way to get through it quicker than sitting through the reconstructions. But I'm a
Yes.
completist. I've
But
got
look,
to do it.
Dalek
And
Master Plan is a problem because like
oh
Katarina
yeah,
dies,
9 episodes
right?
don't exist. Yeah, so they're not. You're watching 9 reconstructions and 3 real episodes, and it is a bit of a hard ship to get through, but it's
But
great.
the problem is that they have the scene where Katarina dies still
Ah,
there. They ha-
mhm.
I can see the moment right before it. I'm like, come on, just finish the story. Come on. So like whenever like I try to like get to like a point with Dalek Master Plan, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read it. And I say, it's
Okay.
not the same. It's not the same. I
It's
need to
not,
see this
but
thing.
it's as good if you're in one medium than the other. It's as good.
Yeah.
Poor, poor Katerina. Great idea for a companion, very poorly executed, and out the airlock she went,
I
literally.
love the
Yeah.
trampoline. The trampoline is fun.
Yeah.
That's a great scene. It is. To be honest, that's a very shocking scene. That's a very shocking scene. That is not something that a show like that you're thinking is going to happen. Katerina,
Also, I'm sorry.
I mean, she wasn't a. Oh, I'm not going to say waste of a character, but there wasn't much character. But the fact she was there and then the way she went, that was shocking. Back then, I'm sure it was.
Absolutely. Also, I never had a problem with Vicky. When she first came on, I found her actually kind of refreshing in contrast to a Susan, because like
Okay.
I love Susan, right? Especially in Big Finish, but in the show she doesn't do much, right? And given Vicky doesn't do much either, but like at least like they try to like show like she like has like some technical background to her. And so like when they tried that, I was like, okay, at least they're showing that like, she can at least hold her own and not just the screen box.
You know what you need to do, Zion? You need to listen to some of the companion chronicles with Vicky in it, with Maureen O'Brien. She does a really good job there. She is not, when Big Finish takes a character that's minor and you don't really like, you'll like
Mhm.
it. I can sit through an Adric episode of the Fifth Doctor with Big Finish that I could not do with the TV series. I can handle it. I can't. I hate Adric. Did I ever say that on my show? I think I did.
I was traumatized when Adric died as a kid. When it happened, I was like mortified.
Re-edited the episode with the soundtrack, put on a happy face during the credits.
So yeah.
I'm sick. I was sick back then. Put on a happy face. Yeah.
But along those same lines, I cheered at the end of Doomsday.
Okay.
Same here. Look. That's my whole thing with bringing those two back. It's like when they went away, I'm like, okay, the soap opera BS is done. Thank you.
Right.
But
Mhm.
like, this is what the modern people like. So like, I get why they went back to it. It's just not my cup of tea. Like, I'm of of the lines of like the the um the Seeds of Doom, where like the Doctor is obviously an alien. He is here to save your planet and be however he is in the episode, how how however the story needs him to be. For like that story, he's like super dead serious, right? And Sarah is just trying to just hold on to your life as they're trying to deal with this freaking space plant. Meanwhile, I look at season 2, and like they had that Scooby Doo thing at one point, and and there's a whole lot of romance, and I'm just feeling like I get why you like it, but I just don't like it.
You know what you're describing, Zion, is something that deals with characterization, and we'll talk about it more later. Is the reason I don't like Clara. And the reason I don't like Clara is she is about 3 different characters.
Thank you very much. You've just
yes.
given my reason. Thank you.
She's Impossible Girl is good, but that should have been done. And then, because Impossible Girl Clara isn't really Danny Pink Clara, and
No.
Danny
Yes.
Pink Clara isn't really the one that wants to be the doc. So she's several different characters that have no consistency, and the same thing could be said for Rose. I'm okay. I love season 1. Let's go have adventure Rose, but clingy girlfriend Rose, I'm ready for her to go out the door.
Yes.
Well, next week when we do Snare, we're back to one adventure Rose.
Yep.
Oh,
I'm
That should be
excited.
fun. That'll be fun.
Okay. Go ahead, Mark.
No. Go ahead.
Just to round it out, the Companion Chronicles. This is our first Companion Chronicle we've reviewed. I felt it was an okay story. I mean, it wasn't glamorous. It wasn't the best Companion Chronicle I've ever listened to. It wasn't the worst. It was good. I mean, it was directed by Lisa Bowerman, who is our dear friend, since she knows what she's doing. So yeah, William Russell was good. He does a bad Vicky impression, but he admitted to it at the end of the audio. So we're all good. I'm all good there. Any different opinions on it?
I enjoyed it. If I hadn't heard it the first time, and then this was coming in new, I think the Twilight Zone-ish nature of the story by the end of it is really cool. And it was cool the first time, and taking my mind off of what I watched before, I enjoyed it. I like it when you have things that switch up at the end. And I'm not going to go into what that is. Listen to it. You know, it's interesting. I was going to say, you cannot buy the CD anymore. You have to download this from the Big Finish website now.
Yep.
Oh.
100%.
Only downloadable now. I think I sold this one back in the day when I was selling Big Finish audios. I think I did sell a bunch of the Companion Chronicles, and this was one of the ones I sold. But yeah, now it's downloadable only.
All right.
I liked it. I liked it like how I like the 13th Doctor story. As we said, how that story was a perfect lineup with how the 13th Doctor stories were. This is a perfect lineup with how the first Doctor stories were. We're here. We're going to get our bearings. The story gets going, and when it gets going, it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have a question, Jarrod. Are we going to use the randomizer, or are we going to do Snare, or are we going to do both?
Well, the next episode we're going to have is going to be the 9th Doctor Adventure Snare.
Right.
But for the episode after that, we need to randomize.
Oh, we do need to random. You don't want to wait? You want to randomize tonight?
Because
tell everyone what the randomizer is. Explain it to everyone.
Okay, the randomizer is how we're going to be selecting our random stories for the month. It is at TARDIS.guide, and you are able to put in what type of media, from what era of the show, or you want television, books, audio dramas, audiobooks, webcasts, minisodes, comics, short stories, and from what range. Do you want just Doctor Who? Do you want Torchwood, etc.? Do you want just classic stories, just new stories? Yeah. So I want to go ahead and randomize our next
Before
story.
you do, may I add a suggestion to the range of the randomizer?
Yep.
I'd like to put it, because Lisa Bowerman happened to direct the one we just listened to this week, can we put Bernice Summerfield in the possibilities of the randomizer?
Oh, yes.
Yep. Okay. What about the Unbound?
I would always put the Unbound in, because you don't have a lot of stories, but they're good.
Okay. So we
don't need K9. We can skip K9.
Yeah, because you only have that Australian show for that. All right.
That's a great show, though. Sort of, not really. Okay.
So we're the randomizer is going to pick from television, books, audio dramas, and audiobooks from the Doctor Who, Torchwood, Sarah Jane Adventures class, Worlds of Doctor Who, Bernice Summerfield, and Unbound ranges from all eras of the show, and randomize.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
So it was State of Change, but I hit it twice and it brought up another Companion Chronicle.
So you changed the State of Change, you changed, and it went to Old Soldiers.
Yes. I didn't think it was processing, but it actually was. So I hit the button twice before it had loaded. So do you want to go with State of Change or the book, or do you want to stick with Companion Chronicle? I'll let you both decide.
I enjoy State of Change. I could reread that.
Sure.
Okay. So we have the Missing Adventure State of Change that we will be reading for our randomizer for next month.
Not next, right, in 2 episodes. But
2
in
episodes.
1 episode, we are doing the Ninth Doctor and Rose Snare, which came out from Big Finish today as recording August 6th, 2025. So we're going to review that next time.
Yep, next time.
So we have 4 weeks to read a novel.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
all right. With that note, anything else, gentlemen, or are we ready to bid sayonara and hop into our TARDIS until next time?
I'm getting ready to hop into my TARDIS, but I cannot wait to find out in a couple of weeks if Alex Kingston is going to be on Strictly Come Dancing. I'm excited about that.
Awesome. All right. Well, on that note, on behalf of Zion Kuros and Mark Baumgarten, I'm Jarrod Cooper, and thank you for listening to the TARDIS Travel Guide. We will talk to you next time.